This is The Lost Pleiades by Bhelanna. Exterior, the cosmos, neither day nor night, outside of time. The sound of a ticker-tape machine is flecky click-clacking away. The voice in the cosmos, far out, near the Pleiades, near the Seven Sisters star cluster, begins to tell a story. Cluster M45, the vantage point, is visible from virtually every spot on the little blue planet called Earth. It is a suitable place from which to observe, chronicle, and consider, as they have for thousands of years.
What's a ticker tape?
The sisters regard the question, but the debate is quickly halted when the first disembodied voice, Pleiad 1, answers.
Never mind, little sister. Pay attention. Ticker tape sounds mean pay attention.
The other sisters quietly settle into the repose of the tribune.
Friday, January 15th, San Francisco. A 60-year-old woman was stabbed yesterday on the campus of the University of California. She died later at a hospital. The stabbing took place at 4:48 p.m. in a breezeway near the Ambulatory Care Center at Parnassus Avenue. The medical examiner's office has identified the woman as Maxine Wills. She died at 5:33 p.m. at San Francisco General Hospital. Will's companion, 46-year-old Daniel Knight, was arrested immediately after the stabbing. Knight is being held at the county jail on suspicion of murder.
The doubting one speaks again.
Wait, I don't understand.
Don't understand what?
She was stabbed on the grounds of a hospital, but she was taken to another hospital where she died?
Yes, that is how it happened.
That confuses me.
From the book of Insler, it says, the heart is capable of sacrifice. So is the vagina. The heart is able to forgive and repair. It can change its shape to let us in. It can expand to let us out. So can the vagina. It can ache for us and stretch for us, die for us, and bleed us into this difficult, wondrous world. So can the vagina.
The sisters nod and murmur like a congregation on Sunday morning.
Is she here?
Pleiad 2, the sentinel, stands by the door, looks out, and turns back to the tribunal.
Yes.
Pleiad 1, the first, the oldest, the teller of tales, motions to the sentinel, calling her to share her story with the tribunal.
We call Maxine.
The puff of blue smoke, the figure takes shape.
I am Maxine. I was Maxine. In that life, I was Maxine. I was many things. Girl, woman, crone. I was called comely when I was young. I was called loving when I grew old. I never felt old, but that's something that happens on that planet. You reach an age of experience and you're labeled old. Every morning, 60 years of mornings, the sun rose and shined through my east-facing window. The rays often found me sitting in my chair, awake. Sometimes there was sleep. Most of the time there was no sleep. My thoughts kept my mind on full alert. Even though I longed for sleep, longed for the quiet environs of my imagination, sleep did not come to me. Like most people, I preferred the life of dreams to waking nightmares. But the noise, where is the noise?
What noise?
The noise of life? The hum? There was always something humming. Street hum, appliance hum, a buzzing in my ears. The hum is gone. That hum used to distract me. The urgency, the mess, the silliness, the power struggles. The hum. All over? Done? When I was in the midst of it, I longed for space. When I was out of it, when there was an abundance of space, I longed, ached for any sign of connection to the world bustling past me. So many days I waited for the mailman who jiggled the lid on the mail slot. I posted on walls and blogs, hoping for an exchange of ideas. I chatted with people a little too long, a little too enthusiastically. I chatted online. I chatted with service people and cashiers in stores. I hated the rejection, the look of disdain they gave me. I even hated that I felt getting that look was better than not getting it. Much better than being invisible. Is there a time limit on mourning the death of a role? No longer mom, no longer wife, no longer worker, just caretaker of a home that once was. At the beginning, the world was so keen on pressuring me to take these roles. The script of my life drove me down this track as if there were no other destinations. So, having run out of track, with no desire to improvise, I waited for the word from without in the early morning hours, staring out the east-facing window. I waited for a herald to tell me what to become. I looked at the blank, empty road ahead, waiting, patiently waiting.
How did you die? How did this happen?
I don't know. It seemed like just another day. My neighbor Daniel came to my door. He had done this many times. He took me to shop. He took me to the airport. He took me to the doctors. This was just another day when Daniel came to help me. I was always grateful for his help. I baked things for him. I mended things for him. I listened to his stories of hope and prosperity. He had so many dreams, but none ever seemed to come true. They all eventually broke down and floated away.
But how did you die? How did this happen?
I don't know. It seemed like just another day in a string of 1,000 other days. He walked me across the grounds of UC San Francisco. We chatted about the Warriors and the upcoming Super Bowl. We were both sports fans. That's how we became friends. Then suddenly, it changed. It all changed. I did not know him. Not the person he became. His eyes, they were black as night, blacker than a starless night. I felt the first stab. It was a pinch. No more. Just a pinch. And I looked at him as I felt my life separate from my flesh. With my last breath, I asked him, "Why?" Then I lost consciousness watching him rummage through my bag, looking for money. Money is why I died. Meth and money.
Take your place with Sister 7. one who was once Maxine.
The silence sweeps over the proceedings. The teller of tales inhales deeply, mindfully, then speaks again, reading from a long, unfurled scroll.
A journalist wrote about Sister Simone. A death in jail. Why would a woman with a new job kill herself after she was arrested? 28 years old, African American, Simone was found dead in a Texas jail cell on July 13th. The cause put forth by authorities was suicide. Held 3 days after being arrested for a minor traffic violation, then charged with resisting arrest and assaulting police officers. Officials cite video evidence and the autopsy report as proof of Simone dying by her own hand. The decision by the grand jury was not to indict. Her family and friends plan to file a wrongful death suit against the arresting officer, other officials, and agencies.
She died because she did not signal a lane change when driving a car in Texas?
That is how it began.
A car? A signal? A change of lanes? A death?
Yes.
Something has to be missing.
Yes, something is missing. Is she here? Call her forth.
We call Simone to her audience with the tribunal.
The echo fades as the puff of blue smoke dissipates to reveal Sister Simone in the chamber.
I am ethereal. I was Simone. I am here to share my story with you, my sisters. Yes, a car, a signal, a change of lanes, and then I was dead. I was a Chicago native. I moved to Texas to take a job at a college, my alma mater. I was so happy. My life was taking a turn for the better, finally. The video was supposed to help me. It did not. I stayed seated as I should have. I cooperated as anyone would. I was in Texas, and this was a traffic stop. Anything could happen. I felt him testing his power over me. Please turn off your vehicle. I did. License and registration. I complied. Why are you in Texas? I said, for a job. Put out your cigarette. I asked, why? Such a simple question. Why? A clarification. A question meant to shed lights on things hiding in dark places. Please give your reason for making this request. Please tell me why this is part of a traffic stop. I asked for an explanation first, and that's when things turned. His breathing changed. His tone changed. He had me. He knew it. I was an insurgent after asking one question, no longer a citizen to protect and serve. I was surly, uppity, college-educated, car-owning, single and independent. I was a threat. I didn't know this at the time, but I know this now. Other people make mistakes when emotions run high. They don't die for it. They might get fined for it, but they don't get yanked out of a car at gunpoint, put into chokeholds, or have their heads slammed against the car on the ground. For 3 days I was taunted in my cell. I was called bitch, dead girl walking in meat for the cold locker. They banged on the bars when I tried to sleep. They spit in my food. They gave me no privacy to even evacuate my bowels or void my bladder. I was a bug under a microscope. One of the nights I woke to warm urine splashing in my face. One of them peed on me and walked away laughing. He recorded it on his phone, laughing at me scrambling away to a far corner of the cell like an abused animal. He walked away saying, "Good, that was real good."
How did you die? How did this happen?
I was exhausted last night. I was too scared to sleep. Most likely I passed out for a bit as opposed to falling asleep. It was not restful. It was not deep. I heard the clanging first. I heard many feet. I felt many hands lift me up, wrap my neck, pull the garrote until I breathed my last breath, and then they hung me up in that cell, just out of range of the video camera. I was a dangling ornament as they left my Golgotha to reset the camera. The video was supposed to help me. Perhaps the tampering will be my witness. From the enlightened book of Insula, it says, I was worried about my own vagina. It needed a context of other vaginas, a community, of culture of vaginas. There's so much darkness and secrecy covering them, like the Bermuda Triangle.
Take your place with Sister 7, one who was once Simone.
The sisters breathed over Simone to help her let go of the last remnants of heaviness.
Year after year, century after century, we age, we observe, we record, but it does not stop. We should stop this.
We cannot. We are spirit, not flesh. We have no sway over things corporeal. They have choice. That was the gift. How they use it is up to them.
Another sister waits to tell her story to the tribunal.
Yes, I see. Sister Gemma. San Jose Mercury News. The family of Gemma Arroyo still struggles to cope in the years after she was beaten to death at a party, when it was revealed to partygoers that she was biologically male. The slaying of the transgendered teenager has devastated her family and prompted much soul-searching in her hometown of Newark, California. On the night of October 3rd, 2002, Arroyo, 17 at the time, was kicked, beaten in the head with a shovel, and strangled at a home in southern Alameda County. For 2 weeks, as rumors swirled through the town, nobody called the police to report the slaying of the youth. Arroyo's body was later found in a shallow grave in the Sierra foothills. Arroyo's mother, Ruth, 39, said on the anniversary of her death, "Not a day goes by that I don't think about the horrific murder of my Gemma. I feel her in my heart every time I see a monarch butterfly. They were her favorite. We stand together now, as we always should have, to prevent hate crimes against people who are gay, lesbian, bisexual, pansexual, transgendered. Everyone should hug their children, because tomorrow is not promised to any of us."
Sister Gemma Arroyo.
The smoke swirls and morphs into a monarch butterfly, then explodes in all directions, leaving behind the visage of Sister Gemma.
I was Gemma Arroyo. I was young. I was in love. I was in love with a pretty boy. His smile lit up the room. To this day, no one knows that he loved me. We were lovers for over a year. We met at soccer camp. I was 16, not yet out. He smiled at me. I thought, no, he can't be smiling at me that way, can he? From then on, when he looked at me, I could not look back. The emotions were so intense, I had to look away, look down. My face burned. I could not breathe, all because he looked at me. His gaze claimed me as his. A week later, we were lovers. No one knew. That month of August was surreal. We found every place in Newark where no one would see us. We were so happy, I know he was happy. We lived a life within a life until school started. After the start of the school year, we would chat every night until we fell asleep. My laptop was my teddy. We awoke and chatted more before being called for the start of our day. We lived in different worlds, but we were one. It didn't start to change until the next summer. I came out in the spring. I identified as Gemma. I stopped using George. I dressed like Selma Hayek, my muse, my inspiration. Just like that movie Dogma. I walked like her. I talked like her. I came out because he wanted me to. We chatted about it all winter. We fantasized about how we would walk arm in arm, out and proud, me so sexy and so desirable. He said he wanted to watch other men envy him. I came out, and he stopped talking to me. It was heartbreaking. I would see him. He would see through me. He walked past me with his friends. He started dating a girl. She looked like me. I tried to understand, but I couldn't. If he wanted me, why not be with me? One night, alone in my room, I got a message from him. After months of silence, he reached out. He said, "I still love you. Nothing has changed. I have to have the girlfriend. My family is not like yours. They would never accept me out. We can still be together. No one can know how we really are, but no one can know how we really are." I was alive again. He loved me. I could breathe again. He never stopped loving me. Now I understood. The subterfuge was for me, building a blind that we could hide behind and still be together. That was what I thought on the 1st of October. The next night, he invited me to that party. He said we could slip away into the woods behind the house and be together again. Once everyone was drunk and high, they would not notice. I believed him. I came to him. I walked into a party of people dressed in drag. Pictures of me naked were pasted on the walls. Everyone took turns reciting my private words to him. They called me stupid. They called me freak. They threw stale beer on me. They chased me into the woods. I was set up by a pretty boy I loved, by a boy who loved me. He did love me. I knew that then. I know that now. He loved me, but he hated himself. So he killed me to be free.
From the illuminated text of the Book of Insla, it says, "I bet you're worried. I was worried. I was worried about vaginas. I was worried about what we think about vaginas, and even more worried that we don't think about them."
Following the silence, this time, Pleiades 7 speaks.
Come, Sister Gemma, be with me, sit with me.
The sentinel informs the teller of tales one more waits to be heard.
There is a fourth today, sister.
I was told there would be 3.
4.
The teller of tales unfolds a bit more of the scroll.
Let me look. Yes, I see. Here. Dugan. Jess Dugan. Found after 18 years. Kidnapper allegedly fathered her children, according to Netter, Los Angeles Times, 2009. A girl snatched off the street 18 years ago was found, and the man and wife team that allegedly kidnapped her has been arrested and charged with unlawful imprisonment and rape. The real identity of Jess Dugan, now 29, was revealed when she accompanied her kidnapper Paul Garrison to a mandatory meeting with his parole officer. The meeting was called when an alert security guard at UC Berkeley suspected that something was not right about the relationship between Garrison, his wife, Jess Dugan, and two young girls. Once arrested, Garrison confessed that he held Jess and his daughters against their will by keeping them locked in a hidden yard within the backyard of their house in Antioch for 18 years. The neighbors did not know. For 13 years, Jess was isolated from all contact with the outside. She was chained in a soundproof shed behind a false wall. When the first daughter was born, Garrison used threats against the child to keep Jess in line. The arresting officer said none of the children had ever gone to school. They had never gone to a doctor. They were kept in complete isolation. Jess's health is poor. Imprisoned in a backyard for 18 years can take its toll on anyone's health.
The sentinel announces Sister Jess Dugan.
Why is she here, sisters? The story said she lived.
I will answer that.
Jess Dugan materializes out of nothingness.
The officer did not realize how prophetic he was. Indeed, living in a backyard for 18 years was very hard. My mind and body were beyond repair. Once I was abducted, I had no health care. I had no dental care. My food was scraps. I gave birth to my daughters like a cat behind a stove. When the babies began to eat solid foods, I gave them the best scraps. I had so many health problems, but I never gave up. I never let them break me. I learned how to survive in that backyard. I learned that I could go inside and draw on the peace and the determination from within. I learned to make cloth dolls for my babies by tying strips of fabric together. I told my children stories that I remembered from my childhood. I made more up. We could see the stars through the tarp sometimes. We claimed them. We named them. We talked to them in the dark. They kept us in good company. When they let me work in the print shop, I held on to my reason. My mind would scream at me, "Run for the door, pass a note to the next customer." But I had to save my children by standing still. They had the flesh, my jailer and the sex slave he called a wife. They could demoralize and rend my body in whatever way suited them. It was expendable. It was about surviving. I had my soul. They never touched that. And they never touched my babies. 6 months after that guard saved us, and I prayed every morning and every night for that guard to be blessed for saving us, my doctors diagnosed me with pancreatic cancer. The disease was as mean and relentless as my captors had been. I fought that too. I fought so hard that I could enjoy my children's freedom as much as possible before the cancer ended my days. I wore pink wigs when my hair fell out. I sang karaoke. I watched many sunrises and sunsets, walking on beaches and camping up on mountaintops. The peace was always in me. Cancer, captors, cold, damp ground. Nothing could reach it.
The third Kian walks over to his sister, takes her hand, walks her over to Sister Seven, and helps her find her seat.
From the inspired book of Insler, it says, looking at it, I started crying. Maybe it was knowing that I had to give up the fantasy, the enormous, life-consuming fantasy, that someone or something was going to do this for me. A fantasy that someone was coming to lead my life, to choose direction, to give me orgasms.
teller of tales starts the tribunal's closing ritual.
From the earth, we are seen from nearly every spot on the little blue planet. But the lost sister is the hardest to see. Some see her when they look skyward. Some do not. Some see that there are many more lost sisters than just the one.
Sister 7, Sister of the Lost, what is your number? How many are you?
Sister 7, Sister of the Lost, what is your number? How many are you?
Sister of the Lost, what is your number? How many are you?
Billions.